Hi guys, I'm Jo-Dee Butler. Welcome to the B-Side Podcast. This series is all about parenting. Today I have with me an amazing woman, Quanita Adam. She's an actress, a director, a producer. She sings as well. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. It's lots of fun to be here.
This podcast is all about parenting, right? And
sure.
Everyone's parenting journey looks different, and that's what I would like to highlight today. So, some people's family dynamic is different to yours, different to mine, and that's what's their normal. So you got married a couple of years ago. I was actually at your wedding.
You were?
I was.
Yes.
Yeah, I was. Both of your weddings.
I was going to say, you had
because
both.
ma'am had two weddings, obviously.
Yeah, home affairs.
You got married a couple of years ago, 2018.
Yes.
Yes. Well, that was the second one was 2018, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's so funny because the first wedding, I was pregnant with Boston.
You were.
The second one, a couple of months later, which was the second celebration.
Yes.
She was at the wedding.
She was.
So something that I don't think I know is, how did you and Dr. Brian meet?
Oh man, it's interesting.
How do I not know the story?
I don't know. So we met at cricket actually. I'm a huge cricket fan.
Yeah.
And there's a group of us, friends from UCT, who every year, because we live in different parts of the world, but every year, if we're all in Cape Town, we go to the New Year's Test at the Newlands. And this year we were all in town. And then my friend said his younger brothers just met this guy from America. They're all at UCT. He's never been to cricket. Can he come? And I'm just like, I don't care. Am I paying for his ticket? Yeah, whatever. Cricket is the winner here.
Yeah.
So he comes and I chat to him. And, he's quite like dull, I guess. He brought a book to the cricket.
Wow.
And
nerd.
Exactly. And I thought, this bra, I'll introduce him to my younger brother. And then we kind of ended up chatting throughout the cricket. And I'm like, where do you live? And he says, in town. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm in town. How are you getting home? And he's like, I'm taking a train. I'm like, no, you're not. Not in Sweden either. Yeah. In Cape Town, you're not. And I was like, have you been on a Mowbray, like a main road taxi?
Yeah.
And he said, no. I said, okay, cool. Come, we're going to go on the main road taxi.
The experience.
So we go on the main road taxi. Of course, it's Klopse. Everybody is asking to take photos with me. I have to hold their babies, selfies. And he's just like, why do these people know you? And I'm like, my work.
Kind of a big deal.
My work.
Yeah.
And he's like, what work do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm often on television,
Yeah.
And he's like, are you famous? And I'm like, no. But now more people are taking my photos. He's like, dude, I think you're famous. And then from there on, we just kind of carried on chatting. And then he just made like a bold move. One day he was just like, what's your plan?
Oh.
And I'm like, what?
Oh.
And he's like, what's your plan here with me?
Like with the two, okay.
Yes.
Like, what are your intentions?
Yes. And I was just like, I don't know, we're friends. He's like, we're not friends. I said, huh? He said, I'm the first person you speak to in the morning and I'm the last person you speak to at night. Where are these friends? If I'm one of your friends.
Okay. I'm going to look at Dr. Brian a little bit differently now because I'm like, what? He said what?
I know. And then I was just like, okay. And he's just like, yeah, I think there's something happening here. And I was just like, okay, well, And then I don't know how PG this is, but I was just like, okay, cool. Like, let's hook up and then we're done. And he was like, And he was like, are you saying that we like hook up and then I don't get to see you anymore? And I'm like, yeah, it's like one and done. Let's just keep it moving. And he was like, nah, I don't want that.
And you weren't suggesting that to see, like, let's see how physically compatible we are.
No, I just didn't care. It was summer in Cape Town. I was just like,
I don't care. It was summer. Whatever.
Yeah, I'd also come out of like a 10-year relationship and I was just...
So you were down.
I was being single. I was being a single woman in Cape Town in the summer.
And look where that got you.
Man. And then he was like, no. And I think because I wasn't used to being told no in such a firm way. And I'll never forget, he said, I'm going to go. I think you're going to feel differently about this in the morning.
I mean, I've met Brian. I've spent time with him.
You've seen those big calves.
You're saying,
I watched those big bloody Popeye calves walk away from me. He didn't even turn around.
He doesn't have large calves.
Abnormally,
like,
unreasonably.
Like it's not real.
It's not okay.
It's not.
I still get the fright. I'm just like, what are you doing? It's bigger than my head. Yeah, so that's the story of us. He was just like, he shot his shot to whatever the kids say these days. Yeah. But he was so clear about it. He was so clear in his intention. That even though I was happy to do a summer fling because I enjoyed him.
Yes.
But of course, so then we get together and I spend about 4 months trying to break up with him. And you know, when you write film in filmmaking, in script writing, there are these things called like mounting and escalating complications. And so I kept ramping up reasons why we needed to break up. And one day I made him watch Malcolm X and Sarafina on the same day. Because I was just like, listen, white man, you need to understand, because you think I'm playing. We cannot be together. This is not okay that we are together. So I'm going to sit you down. I'm going to make you understand the context, the geopolitical, the socioeconomic.
Let's get serious.
All of it. Just let's break it down why this is not going to work, bruh.
And for all the reasons
and he
that
watched
you
it
said no.
and he was just like, I'm not going to let you break up with me.
Yeah.
And I think more than anything, like his steadfastness and his clarity of vision, like he had a clear plan that included me. It was so captivating to me because I'd also spent this relationship being the driver. You know, I was in that relationship where I was having to be everything. Yeah. And so to be like a passenger in this like wonderful...
Take me for the ride, Dr.
I was
Brian.
just like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I've tried to break up with him like in front of my family, like literally at a family dinner. I'd be like, listen, I don't think this is working. And my own family were like, oh, you need to shut up and quit this because
he's boarding
now.
He's not going anywhere.
Maybe you go.
Yeah, maybe you go.
Maybe you need to go.
But we like him. He's staying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And here you are, married, and you've got a beautiful daughter.
Yes, a 3-year-old.
A 3-year-old. She's amazing, Alia. She's beautiful.
She did tell somebody no.
Oh.
When someone recently said, oh, you've got such beautiful eyes. And she looked at them and she said, nope.
No.
So like,
yeah. I mean, I think it's all about consent these days. So I have to consent to you giving me a compliment. And today it's no.
It's a no.
Maybe
I was having a no day.
Yeah. So your husband is from America. He's American. You're
from the south of America, from Florida.
From Florida. He's from Florida. We like to say he's from the Everglades. He's from where
he's from the swamp, guys. He's like the closest thing to a Cape Flats man.
Exactly.
Yes. And we realized that the thing we have in common is the like chest freezer.
I mean...
Because that's where my family, culture and his culture come together. They had a freezer for deep freezing, the box chest freezer.
And I mean, there's scary things that you would find at the bottom of that chest freezer.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ice cream containers with not ice cream in there.
Never.
I mean, those are just...
It's soup, guys. It's 100% soup and stock.
Soup and stock. It's a bad, it's just...
And cut up spinach.
And cut up, why? I don't know. But that's a conversation for another
day.
For another podcast, another show. So your husband's American, your sister-in-law is Norwegian, your brother's married to a Norwegian girl. So there's a lot of there's an amalgamation of cultures. You are South African, of course. Is there one like parenting style that you draw from the different cultures that you've seen? Oh, they do things like this. His mom does it like this. And something that you kind of like or admire and that you've tried to take?
So he never got hit as a child.
Must be nice.
Yes, 100%. So we don't hit Alia. We don't.
Yeah.
But my parents were very present. His parents had a very kind of hands-off. To be fair, he's one of 3 boys, and he's the middle, and they're all they're full on. They're like boys.
Yes.
And so his parents kind of, because of the circumstances, they were both working. It ended up being like, you're at the mercy of these like Floridian wilds. You know what I mean? So they grew up.
Floridian wilds.
I want to say feral, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
They just had this completely uninhibited childhood, whereas my parents they both worked, but they were a lot more present. They were a lot more on top of things. But also, I mean, we weren't thrashed regularly, but there were a few times in my life where we got it, and they're formative. Like I remember them. So I think that from my parenting experience or my child experience, I want to be as present in Alia's life as my parents were and supportive.
Yeah.
And then from Brian's parents, I guess this kind of uninhibited way of letting kids kind of evolve and grow in their environments.
Yeah.
And just kind of, because that's like Brian is so brave with Alia.
It's so funny that you say that, because as you are explaining the things and your hopes and your wishes for her and the way that you want to parent, I'm seeing all those things like, oh, I actually see that in her. I mean, I've interacted with her a couple of times, and you are obviously super, super present. Both of you are. But I also see, like, memory of mine about Alia is her, like, she wears jeans that are way too large for her. She climbs things that are way too high for her.
Yeah.
She eats off the floor sometimes, you know?
Still,
and she's just
still.
like my mom says, I just remember this thing, like, she was eating a pear. Alia was eating pear. She was about 2 years old, and she ate a pear. You guys were at the park somewhere, and she ate it. It fell. She picked it up, went like this, and continued eating the pear. And she was just like, you know, she's fine. She's cool. And you let her, like, roam free. She's climbing on things that I'm like, oh,
I'm
is she okay?
terrified.
And you're like, that's fine.
But
well, you
I
don't
get
show it.
No, but because I get my kind of braveness from Brian.
Yeah.
So when Brian gets worried, then I'm like, no.
Okay.
Then I'm on it. But as long as he seems to have it under control, because I was quite fearful as a child. I'm scared of heights, so I didn't climb. So I have no frame of reference. I'm always going to be scared. But because Brian grew up climbing things, he understands what it feels like as a child to know one's own limitations. I don't trust that at all.
Yeah.
I don't trust that even if she's in the middle of a floor, she's not going to find some way to, like, tumble over. But Brian's like, no, when she gets to the edge, this is how she learns to, like, gauge. I can't deal with that. Because Brian can. Then I'm like, okay, cool.
No, but she's just so, I don't even think she thinks about it. She's just like, okay, I'm climbing, I can step on here, I'm going. Because I've been at your place where she's climbing on the thing, and I'm, oh, she okay, she's fine. And she's not even fazed by it.
She's not fazed by it. So what I don't want to do is project my fear onto her. Having said that, because even though Brian is right-handed, he grips his pen like he's left-handed. Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, let me take over. You do camp and climb.
Yes.
And I will do, penmanship. Leave penmanship to me. I will do the imaginative stuff. I'll do the drawings.
Yes.
I'll do the reading, the singing, you know what I mean? All that stuff. So I think it's quite clearly delineated his terrain where he is able to thrive and be playful with her.
Yeah.
And then my stuff, where he feels quite inhibited, we can get quite loose and fun. And we're just about knowing your strengths, I think.
It's so wild that you say that, because I was literally going to ask you, is there anything, and maybe there's something else as well, that Brian does, that you let Brian have full, like, reign over, like, this is your domain, this is what you do, purely because he's better at it than you?
Yeah, it's all the physicality stuff.
All the physicality stuff.
All the physicality stuff. And, like, computer stuff.
And, like, computer stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because who knows that? I don't know.
Tech
Whatever.
support.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yes, get down.
Tech support. He's good tech support and the outdoor activities. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. So you are a woman of many, tell me, yes? Go.
Also, like, cooking. Do you know that when we had our, like, mid-year assessment at the school, we were told that she has, like, a crazy advanced fine motor skills and has really good scissors skills. And I remember that's
3.
because Brian was letting her play with scissors from when she was, like,
of course he was.
You know what I mean? So she can cut out, like, really intricate shapes, like, on the line with grown people's scissors.
With grown people. Which hand? What is she right-handed?
She is right-handed.
She's right-handed.
Yeah,
but she's probably going to be one of those kids that, like, I write with my right hand, but I can
kick with my left.
Kick with my left, and swing a racket.
So Brian's also, like, he's brave. Like, she uses knives, all of that stuff, and I'm just like,
cool. Okay. She's 3. She's, she's good. I love it. I love that. Do you are, you do many things. You are a writer, you're a director, you're a producer, actress. Like I said, you're a singer. So, I mean, you sing as well. Is there any one talent that you hope that Alia takes from you?
I mean, already I see it.
Yeah.
She's very artistic.
Okay.
Incredibly artistic. Like, her drawing is already quite, I think, a little bit advanced. She can hold a tune.
Really?
She can. She can really hold a tune. And I say this with as much love, is that she has my and Brian's like love for dance. So like passion for dance is high.
Yes. The skill level.
Is maybe a bit low. We'll clap on a 1.
Okay. Yeah, well,
we'll clap on a 1.
Yes.
So that swamp, with the shoulders and the
yes. Okay.
Yeehaw. I mean, you've also seen my husband dance. So
I mean,
she's definitely got Brian's next to the beat.
Yes.
Beats.
Maybe that's kind of like endearing. Like that's just gonna make her. Oh, that girl that can't dance. She's cute. She's smart. But maybe can't dance. You can't have everything.
I need something. She look white. She don't look like me. Uber drivers are just like, oh, the mother trusts you to take it to the aquarium.
The nanny, cool.
Like, yeah, the nanny. So it would be nice if, she looks like Brian, but like big elements of her personality are me.
Yeah. That's great.
She's also a lot like Brian. So it's not like, say, she looks like Brian, but her personality is like the mother. No. Personality is also a lot like Brian.
Do you wish that she had more of your physical
100%.
traits? Yeah.
100%.
What's the one thing that you wished, just looking at her, like physical traits that she had that she doesn't? Of you?
I think hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's beginning to look a lot more like me. I mean, when she came out,
she does actually.
She does. In the beginning, she was just like child of Brian.
Exactly. But I always say sometimes you look at a kid and the eyes, the hair, the skin color might be different, but the facial features are there. Like I always say, it's the same face, just a different color scheme. You know what I mean? Like
yes, exactly.
Light hair, maybe a little, and no freckles, green blue eyes.
Yeah.
And
I think in the beginning, it was a challenge for me as a mother. Because also when she was born, for the first year of her life, she had like blue eyes. Mm-hmm. I know this is going to sound weird, but like so much of my career has been about interrogating a certain kind of woman, a certain kind of white woman, how we interact as a woman of color.
Yeah.
How do you negotiate these things? How do you interrogate privilege? How do you interact with privilege? How can you carve out a space for yourself where, in spite of the way you look, the way you present, you are able to take up space in the world?
Yeah.
And then to have this child who at first glance kind of represents the thing that you've spent a lot of time and effort trying to dismantle. Took a long time for me to like get over that. And here again, Brian was incredible. Brian was just like, okay, cool, I can hear you, but this is our child.
Yeah.
And this is your child, and we're going to have to be okay with that so that you don't make this hers to carry.
Yeah.
So you need to figure it out quickly. And I did. So even when I say the hair, like I'll never forget the first time I just put too much conditioner on this child's head with this muscle memory, right? And I was just like, all the conditioner.
She doesn't need hair food.
She don't need argan oil. She don't need anything because she's just going to look smart.
Yeah, so exactly.
You know what I mean? So it was like a weird, I'm just like, this combing hair story has been.
Why is this so easy? What's happening?
So
what is it?
And initially you spend like, if she had curly hair, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you just begin to enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
And you realize you need to find a way to move past that point quite quickly. Otherwise, that's going to become a thing in your relationship that is so unnecessary. It's an unnecessary tension.
Yeah.
Is
there anything with Alia that you hope that she doesn't take from you? Something that you just hope that she never picks up, even though you do it constantly, or just a personality trait that you just
really
hope
there's like an impatience,
yes,
she's got a tone.
Oh
man, she's got a tone. And it's I hear myself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. She's got a quirky sense of, she's got a great sense of humor, and she's. That. The other day, because she always has to greet Uber drivers,
yes,
non-negotiable. So she says, hello, driver. Driver says, hello. She says to him, and this is 100% me. She says, what's your name? And he says, Basil. And he's like, Basil? Like this. And he says, yes, Basil. And she says, you go well with pasta.
Oh.
And we're still busy trying to catch up. She says, but today, Basil, you are an Uber driver.
Oh, wow.
I was just like, thanks, Guruji. Like,
I mean, that's great.
yeah. So she's got
a personality. She's got wit. She's cute.
But
she's
there's
funny.
like she can be like a little bit of a
like, was that a
mean
dish?
girl.
Wasn't it?
Exactly.
I mean,
And I
Basil
think that's
does go good with pasta.
Yeah.
Facts.
It does go
You know?
well with pasta. But like sometimes she can be like hectic with just the comments.
Yeah.
And there's an impatience. And I hear that. You know?
What makes you the most proud? Like when she does what? Do you go, let's make it? Yeah. Especially in front of other people.
I gotta say it's the physicality. Like people have never stopped being surprised by just how capable she is of doing insane things. Like went to the little gym and she was on the bars, like doing crazy things. And, you know, when people now try and recruit her for some kind of like gymnastics thing, and they're 5-year-olds who can't do what she's doing. So her physicality, which is very different, because I was a kid who was quite like word smart and quite precocious, and, you know, and people were always surprised by how smart I was at such a young age. And we have that with her physicality, like just how physical she is, just how strong she is, just how like athletic she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that people are just like, wow, your kid's incredible.
That's kind of, yeah, she's strong. She's mine. Yeah.
No,
Gymnast, Nadia Comaneci.
Yeah.
In the
also,
making.
it's like, it's so weird because it's so different to me.
Yeah.
So I get to experience it from this like weird perspective of not like, oh, that's all me.
Yeah, it's not like,
Not
this
me at
is
all.
Yeah, it's not like it's expected because I was a pro athlete, so obviously my
Yes.
kid's going to be capable.
Yeah.
Like, and also she's like this big, so
She is.
she's tiny.
Yeah.
She's so cute. She's so cute. Do you, you know, I know that you lost your dad a couple of years
Yes.
ago. Obviously, you and your mom are quite close. I actually saw her the other day. She was walking with your nephew, and she's got long blonde hair.
Great.
I mean, but it's like platinum. It looks like platinum blonde.
She just,
looks
during
amazing.
COVID, like so many women, she was just decided like, screw it. I'm just going to let my hair do its
And
thing.
that's all just, it looks amazing.
That's the color of her hair. It is, listen.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like a normal, you know, like sometimes people, I mean, I had my hair dyed, like I paid money to have my hair look like that.
Yeah.
And she's just, and that's all natural. Mm-hmm. It looks amazing.
That's her hair.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
So you've spoken before about like how your mom and dad was like super in love and super into each other.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's something that your kid will see in the two of you? Or what do you think it is that Alia would say, oh, my parents were like this? What's the rest of that sentence?
Always together. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because we stay a 13 to 15-minute walk from her school. We always walk together to drop her off, no matter what.
Yeah.
And we always walk together to pick her up. Aww. And even the teachers, they talk about us in that way. And so even though there has to be an exceptional circumstance that sees one of us away. So anything that we do with Alia, we do together.
Oh, that's cute.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Even if we're going to go play in the park, we play together.
Yes.
Even if one of us is like doing work stuff on the phone or whatever. So I think that the togetherness of that, the unit of that.
That's beautiful. I like that. I like that.
And I think that's important. I mean, both Brian and I, our parents, his parents, he still has both his parents and they're very much together. You know, I lost my dad, but my parents are very much together. And I think that makes a difference.
Yeah.
It's a huge, it's a thing.
It
when
is.
That's what it's not like that for everyone. But it is like that for us. And I hope she enjoys that.
I think she will. Because not a lot of people have that kind of memory. Normally it's just like, oh, they were working, they were busy, maybe they were fighting, and it's not very often where you have a kid who's grown, whose memory is just pure love.
Yeah.
And that's so great that you have that.
Yeah. And
that's amazing.
Want to share that with her. So I hope she remembers us.
Yeah.
In that way.
I actually want to ask you something that's a little bit off topic.
Go.
But
yes.
I've always just wanted to ask you this. You've You directed, wrote a movie in 2021 called Swirl.
Yes.
Which was amazing. I loved that film.
Oh, thanks.
Go and watch the movie. It's amazing. And in the movie, I thought it was quite cute that some of your characters name dropped Quanita Adams.
Oh, yes.
And I think it happened more than once.
No, just once.
Well, no, I think, are you sure it was once? I feel like it was twice. And I thought that was pretty cool and cute. And I was like, oh, she just name dropped herself in her own movie. Because you didn't star in the movie.
No.
But you were behind the entire thing. It's your baby. It's your child.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be like an ongoing thing for future projects where you are going to name drop yourself in the movie?
No, that's not my thing. But what's interesting is, so I'm actually in the process of, I'm in pre-production for my second movie.
Yeah.
Which is in fact a reflection on my father's funeral. So it's about a Muslim funeral. So everything happens in one day.
Yeah.
The movie starts in the morning and it's kind of got to get wrapped up by 4:00.
Yeah.
Because Muslim people bury before sunset. Yes. And because it's a reflection on my father, I name drop many of the members of my family whom I've lost in the last couple of years. And there are all kinds of Easter eggs. So, for example, in Swirl, a lot of people don't know this, all the hair that was used in the alopecia storyline of the movie was my own hair, because I'm an alopecia sufferer.
Yeah.
And like literally part of why I wanted to tell the story of the hair is that because I had gone through this hair loss journey.
Yeah.
So in the same way, in this movie, there are little Easter eggs everywhere. And they're little traces of my dad or my cousins or aunts and uncles. And in fact, a lot of people, I've decided that the cast and crew can nominate people to dedicate the film to. And then I want an in memoriam scroll.
Like, that's
at
lovely.
the end of the movie, like in lieu of credits.
Yes.
Just to offer up the movie.
Yeah, so no matter what the movie's about, there's always going to be a piece of you and a piece of people that you love in the movie.
I think so. Maybe not name dropping myself, but
I like that. I think you should, because I think that you should do like a, like a Stan Lee moment. Stan Lee's in all his Marvel movies. He makes like a random appearance. So in all of your movies, I think someone should.
And you know that, did you know that Sylvester Stallone wrote Saturday Night Fever?
I didn't know that.
And he's in the opening credit sequence. You know when what's his name? John Travolta's walking down the main street. He bumps into a guy who's got like a fur jacket, and it's made up. It looks like a lot of like foxtails.
Does he turn around?
He does kind of turn around like that. That's Sylvester Stallone. You watch that opening.
Okay, note to self: I'm rewatching that movie and checking out that scene.
And he wrote it. So there are lots of people who like place things.
Yeah. I like that. I think it's cute.
Also always in his own movies, Stan Lee in the Marvel movies.
Do you think that Alia, would you want her to get into the entertainment business?
Even
in the slightest?
No.
Do you think that she would end up more like Brian? I mean, he's an economist.
It's hard to say. You know, she's so physical. Like it's hard for me to see her do anything that's not like some kind of physical thing. But she's 3, right? So we're also just going to let her do whatever. And then we get there when we get there.
Growing up, did your parents like kind of try and steer you in a certain direction?
In a way, they steered me away from a certain direction because I was so clearly going to end up in the creative arts. For a long time, I thought I was going to be a visual artist. Yeah. In fact, after matric, I went to Michaelis to study fine art. Yeah. And so for as long as they could, as long as it was theirs to choreograph, they kind of tried to steer me in the direction of like, just get a degree, get your education, get the bona fides, get the credentials. Because I think they knew that I was going to end up in this way. So what they wanted to do is stack the deck with as much kind of like other stuff as possible, and give me as broad as possible an education, because it was inevitable. And then never stopped. They always supported me. Like I always say this, like my parents have been to every single, barring when I perform overseas. In this country, they've been to every single opening night of every single play I've ever done, or a movie. They were like my biggest supporters. And so that's also what I want to be for Ali. Like I don't care what it is that you do, but you just know that when you look up from the field or the stage or the crowd or whatever, know that you will be able to rest your eyes on us.
Yeah,
we're gonna
because
be
mom
there
and
for
dad
you.
will be there
We will
together,
be there.
obviously,
Yes, exactly.
because they do everything
We do
together.
everything together.
That's amazing.
That's so cute.
So I've had many different people on this podcast talking
Yes.
about their different parenting journeys. Because like I said, everyone's looks different, right?
Yes.
Everyone deals with different things. You are married to an American man. Your backgrounds are completely different.
Except for now the freezer.
Except for the freezer, which is what ties you together and what makes you a house home. How do you kind of make sure that she knows, that Alia knows both South African and American cultures, and how do you celebrate those two things?
I don't know that it's even a conscious thing for us.
Okay.
Because currently we're here, we live in Cape Town.
Yes.
You know, next year we'll be living in America. Mm-hmm. So then that question is reversed. So currently, I guess it's like, how does Brian make sure that she's connected to her American heritage? And she isn't, because it's not possible in Cape Town in the same way. What does that mean? Do you want to celebrate the 4th of July? Brian makes a big deal of Thanksgiving, and
I mean, we've been there for Thanksgiving.
Exactly. So maybe it's that.
Yeah.
She's just a 3. So it's really, for us, I think it's about like having her being able to feel free to explore the environment that she's in at the moment. Having said that, she does say, wadu. Exactly. Then you say, what do you want? Then she says, Mama says water, but I say water.
Oh, water.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And Mummy says orange, and I say orange.
Orange.
And she does it
Orange.
like
Yes.
this. So she code switches. She'll say, Papa, I want to go fast. But she'll say, Mama, can we go fast?
I love that she's like, this is what she needs. This is what she understands.
Yes.
This is
Fast.
what he understands.
Papa, let's go fast.
You go fast.
Yes.
She goes fast, he goes fast.
And because we visited Amakara.
Amakara, yeah.
Amakara. So she knows that there's this world that she
Yeah.
belongs to, that she has a grandma and a grandpa and uncles and aunts and people in Amakara. But more than that, I don't know that we're making any special efforts to
Yeah.
include that now. Because I think once we get there, that'll be where we are.
Yes.
And then it'll be on me to remind her that,
This is where you came from.
this is where you came from.
At least she'll have the chest freezer, so that's fine.
She will have the chest
be able
freezer
to see a little bit
of Cape Town. She doesn't speak Afrikaans, and we were like, oh, should we? But in my family, we don't necessarily speak Afrikaans, so it's going to be a weird thing. Although at aftercare, she does.
Okay.
The aftercare supervisor
That's cool.
speaks Afrikaans to all the kids.
Yeah.
So she
That's
hears
great.
it.
So she hears it and she can probably
But she
pick up
ignores
something.
even English, guys.
Yeah. So don't
She's
even
not
try.
listening no matter what. Yeah.
Are there any Americanisms that she's picked up from Brian that you're maybe like, oh, don't do that, or that's annoying or something?
No.
No, nothing.
No,
Besides
nothing.
going fast.
Going fast and orange and wadu.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing.
And so her accent is just a little bit all over the place.
It is all over the place. She says abracadabra. And she also has a life-size panda stuffed toy,
Of course she does.
which when it was given to her, they told her, this is Barry. She calls him Betty.
Oh, because it's Barry.
I
Maybe
don't
because
know.
her dad said it's Barry.
No, her dad, he says Barry.
Oh, he says Barry.
But she says Betty. But now we don't know if it's because it's a bear
Yeah.
or if
Or because she's South African.
abracadabra.
And she's Cape Townian,
Yeah,
maybe.
so sometimes it's like, well, clay.
Yeah.
Hardcore there.
A couple of years from now, I'm going to talk to Alia. What's the one thing she's going to say? My mom always said.
Get off there. Yeah.
Get up there.
Yeah.
That's the
I mean,
memory.
we did, right? We tried that thing where you don't say no to a child. You always couch it in the positive. I read this thing on Facebook that said whoever came up with gentle parenting forgot to tell the kids. And I feel like that's where we are. And the thing is, like, we have a calm corner. Guys, it's the naughty corner. Because now we threaten with the calm corner.
Calm. Oh, yes, yeah. You can want to go be calm. You want to go be calm in that corner.
And I'm the only one stressed. She's happily doing
Chilling in the calm corner.
You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it.
So I don't know. We try and be as open with her as possible without being too permissive. Brian is definitely the more permissive parent.
Yeah.
Like, he's seriously, like, sometimes I have to be like, no, bruh. No.
Yeah.
It's okay that she can't do that in our house. She's not going to be able to do that in the world.
Yes.
Like, she can't climb the bookshelf because there's no context in the whole world where a bookshelf is ever going to be a ladder. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's not like, well, she needs to climb this bookshelf because one day she's going to go to that bookshelf world where you need, you know,
the bookshelf world where she's going to need this training.
No.
Yeah.
That's, just don't do it. It's okay. Like, we love you, but it's a no.
Before I let you go, Quanita, what's your biggest wish for Alia?
When she was quite young, she once had a play date. Mm-hmm. And she was getting so lekker.
Yeah.
Being like all these kids. There were like 3-4 other kids in the playroom. And she was like, they were running and shouting and playing. And suddenly she stepped back and she took in the scene. And then she ran to the mirror and she looked in the mirror and she said, perfect. And she ran back.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't ever want her to lose that.
Yeah.
That like, I want to just be present in this moment. And I love that about her. I love that she asks for help and accepts help. And I don't ever want her to lose that. She says, help me. And then she lets you help her. And that's such a thing. I struggle with that. Mm-hmm. I struggle with that. It takes me a long time to say, okay, guys.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yes.
And then when the help comes, I'm like, no. Okay. No. You.
Mm-mm. How do you relinquish that? Because you and my sister Kim are good friends. And one thing she always says about you is that you are the strong one. You are the supporter. You are the one that's there.
Yeah.
So when you are in need, how do you kind of let go of that?
I don't know. I think
and accept the help.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's at a point where it's so intense and I'm so broken that all I can do is say help. Like, and that's a problem, that I let it get to that point. And then I'm like shattered on the ground. And so the help that I need is like, put me back together.
Yeah.
As opposed to just give me your hand so that, you know. And Alia is very good. She'll be like, help me.
Yes.
And then she tells you what she needs and she takes it when you give it to her. And it's a beautiful quality. And I don't have it. I wish I had it. And I don't ever want her to lose it. I want her to grow up like knowing that she can ask for help. She doesn't have to be strong.
Yeah.
That it doesn't make you weak. It just makes you needing help in that moment. You know?
And that's fine. And
that's beautiful.
Well, maybe there's something that she can teach you and help you with.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, she's gorgeous. You are gorgeous. And you are perfect. Perfect. I love it. Perfect. Quanita Adams, thank you so much for joining me on the B-Side podcast. We're talking all about parenting. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for allowing me to share my story.